Hi, this is Trisha. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today I'm sharing a video on how I did this dresser flip. It was a find from the Facebook Marketplace in our area. My sister-in-law actually bought it, and we have a furniture flipping business that we do. And this was one piece that she got. I think she paid $10 for it. And it was a really nice dresser. The only problem with it that we saw, it was a little dirty and it had some scratches on the top, but that top drawer would not close. And as you'll see throughout the video, I couldn't get it out. I tried several times to pull it out to see what was back there, but I couldn't, so I just proceeded to clean it and get it ready to turn it into something really fabulous for a farmhouse, cottage-y style piece. So once I finished cleaning everything, I actually stop and take off the knobs. There's 8 knobs, and I just used a screwdriver and got those off. And then I ended up painting them white. I kind of was thinking I would stain them, like I stained the top, but I ended up just painting them white, and I was going to stain the feet as well, but I ended up just keeping it very, very simple and staining the top, and I thought it turned out really cute. So you guys let me know what you think at the end. So now I'm just setting this up for to be painted using a Kills primer. This is not something that's really required if you're using chalk paint, but it does help when you're doing a lot of furniture to be able to prevent bleed through, and this does help. And you know, some of the pieces that we get are older that have an antique-y, musty smell, and even though you clean them, sometimes that's really hard to get out, so this helps with that as well. This piece didn't really have any odors, but since it has that yellowy finish, I was afraid it might have some bleed through, so I just went ahead and did a coat of primer to try to prevent any of that. Once I get finished with the first couple of coats, I wanted to make sure that I was really careful with the top, because I knew I was going to stain the top piece. And so I'm just taping it off so that I don't have to do a lot of other work and you know, and it helps to save paint as well. I mean, I guess not, because you're getting it on the tape, I guess, but I was just trying to keep it clean to try to save some work. So I just not painted, but used painter's tape, and then now I'm going over with some bare latex paint. This is just a pure white. I love this color and I love this paint. I do have to use a couple of coats, and but I really like the finish, and it helps to me it gives it more durability than some of the chalk paint. But I think it just depends on the piece and the look that you're going for. I've used so many different types of paint that I like testing them out, and this is just one that I always go back to. I've been using it for a long time with projects that I've been doing for years in my home. And to paint my house, frankly, that's when I started using it. And when I started making signs, I just used paint that I had on hand, and it worked awesome for that kind of stuff. So I did some side tables in my own home using that paint and really liked how it turned out. So I do that sometimes depending on the piece and how much wear it might get. And to me, this piece is probably going to get a lot of wear since it's a dresser. So I wanted to try to be pretty durable. Days later, and taking it outside and stripping off that finish of the top, and there was some paint that you can tell I got on there, and then I had used it for some other little projects, but I knew that I was going to refinish the top and not just paint it, so I didn't mind having a little bit of that paint on there. But I like to sand it versus stripping with chemicals depending on what's going on with the piece. This one was pretty small, and I knew it wouldn't be too hard to use just my sander, and it had a few little imperfections that needed to be buffed out. So it didn't take too long, and I thought it ended up looking really nice in the end. So once I get finished, I take this tack cloth, and I had to use gloves because this stuff is so sticky. It is, I hate it. It just feels so gross, and it feels like wax is all over your hands and it doesn't come off. And you can see here that I did not get it completely done. You can wipe it off and clean it, but that tack cloth works really great to get off all of that dust and stuff that gets in there from sanding, and it helps your stain to do so much better and a cleaner finish. So after I got better lighting, I could tell that I didn't get it quite done, so I had to go back here and do a better job. You can tell on that cloth that it still gets pretty dirty, but it looks a lot better now. It's a much more even tone. That's one of my favorite stains. I think it's Jacobean or Jacobine. I really don't know how it's pronounced, but I love it. It's a pretty color. And I'll actually be honest with you, this particular brand is not the finish that I really like. To me, it has like a green undertone. So I'm going to try to go back. I think Men Wax is the other brand that I used of that color. So I'm going to end up going back to that. But it's not so much that I hate it. It's just not, like if you had them side by side, you could tell a difference. So, but I do like it. And I think I do a couple of coats. And the way I stain is just using old t-shirt material. Those are just some old clothing that I was getting rid of anyway, so I just used that. And I just kind of go in circles and to kind of get it down in the finish, and then wipe it off as I go. You can do it multiple ways. Some people use a sponge brush, but for me, when it's something like this is just easier. And I definitely use gloves because it is hard to get that stuff off your hands, and it's still messy even without gloves. But for me, it's hard to use 2 gloves. I need one free hand if I can. Almost done with the stain and then the distressing to the drawers. So while the knobs are drying, I flip it over, clean the bottom, and add 2 coats to the bun feet. And then I end up doing a 3rd coat on the knobs to make sure they're really nice and crisp finished. Since I didn't do a primer on those, I wanted to make sure that it matched. And then at the end, it's the next day after this. I didn't get it filmed because of the lighting, and it was in the evening and it was just too dark. But I do a top coat of polyacrylic min wax and a matte finish. And then on the top, I sand in between coats till that gets out any bubbles and just helps to have a really nice, crisp, smooth finish. until the end. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for hanging out with me today. Have a great day. God bless you.